On my Instagram, every Monday and Thursday for the last year, I've been doing an Ask Me Anything. And you can ask any question there is. I usually answer all of them because I'm just honored that people care enough to ask me a question. But what we've been doing is we've been collecting topics and doing this. Or what are the common themes that people have questions about? It's going to fill out a whole lot of our upcoming mental game lives because you'll be amazed at how much consistency of player to player there is. I told a friend of mine the other day in the golf coaching world, I said, it would be nice if I could put a apparatus on somebody and measure their movements. I could watch their running speed. I could see how high they jump and know what they're doing. What's hard about the mental game is I can't tap into somebody's inner thoughts. In fact, when people come to me, a lot of times I don't get the truth for a couple sessions. And I know that. A coach will call me and say, oh my God, did you know this? Did they tell you this? Did this? And I'm like, they haven't told me that. But why would they? They don't trust me yet. It has to take some time. Is it okay for coaches to shout instructions from the bench? Only if they work. And that's what makes good coaches. If you watch great coaches, they're going to shout and give information, but it's one of those things that you better be good at it. Don't overwhelm them. I don't know about you, but I don't like people yelling instructions from me from the backseat of a car. Sucker for golf. I have a junior tournament coming up, and I've been in winter for the last 4 months, and I'm worried that my game will be rusty. What do you recommend? How about we accept the fact that your game is going to be rusty because you've been in winter golf, lower your expectations, and trust the things that you know how. Just like tonight, I've got 6 cameras in here. We went with 1 camera. Why? Because we don't want to screw it up. Instead of going out there thinking you're going to have all your shots, why don't we play the most consistent, simple plan forward? Let's play vanilla golf and see if that works. Okay? All right. Yeah, we could have a whole session on flipping the funnel. Let's get to our question, right? Doc, I see players talking about that they don't care about what other people think, but I find myself obsessed with that. What do you think about that? All right. I love this one. A couple of years ago, I was watching a motivational guy on Instagram, and I like watching him, but I'm going to give you a little insight here. I always look at their follower count. I know I'm going to get in trouble when I say this. I always look at their follower count because you can always tell when they buy followers. So be careful out there. There's a lot of people who have 100,000 and 115,000 followers, and they probably have 100,000 purchased followers. That drives me freaking nuts. Do the work, grow the message, get your currency out there. Then that works. Okay, anyway. But what he said was, I don't care what people think about me. And on the next video, he was talking about the number of likes that he had and the number of comments that he had on his video. And I thought that was funny. You don't care what people think, but you're obsessed by the likes on the videos. You know what we call people who don't really care what other people think? Sociopaths. We all care what other people think. I care what you think about Mental Game Live. And my job is I have to filter it and understand if it's feasible. Somebody just doesn't like Old McDonald hat on me, a white hat. Some people doesn't like my content. Some people think that my beard should be, dyed. Who knows, right? What I care about is that the content reaches. And the way we do that is through feedback. And a lot of times I study people in my industry, the way people communicate, they all that stuff. I watch people because I want to learn. But you know what the thing about that? When we watch somebody else, we gravitate. We're like magnets to somebody whose our insecurities just happen to match what they do good. And what happens is we see 10 people who do things really, really good that tend to match and be attracted. We're attracted to it because of our own insecurities. Isn't that funny how that works? And so you have to be willing to look at it with the right lens. See, you do a lot of things really well. And you can't see what another person's thought bubble is. You don't get to see their doubts. Talked about that about the full swing segment. You don't get to see their insecurities. You don't get to see the times when they're putting on the mask and they're all strong. You don't see that the fact that they may be dying for attention from their father. They may be begging for a coach to tell them great job. You don't see all that. So when we see somebody else, learn from them. Don't judge your performance because of them. What a lot of times what we do is we tend to assimilate a bunch of other people and be like, they always do great. No, they don't. You just didn't see them on their bad days because you replaced their great with somebody else. And next thing you know, everybody's freaking great. And that's not the case. See, this journey is dark. It's long. It's tiring. It's exhausting. If you read Break Free from Suckville, you remember I talked about it as the joy, the burden, or the joy, the job, the burden. We start off in any journey. It's fun. It's exciting. We're gaining things. Then all of a sudden it becomes a job. It's hard. It's a lot of work. Then it becomes a burden. I got to get up and go do this again. Been coaching for 30 years. I got to do opening day again. Those are real. Those are real. But just because somebody else does something good doesn't mean you can't if you find your way to do it. So when you find yourself looking at other people and studying them, appreciate what they do. Don't use it as a way to pee in your own cereal, to step on your own toes or kick yourself in your own shins. It doesn't work. Because now what you're doing is taking their skill and making it a weapon against you. Instead, use it as a motivator. Let's go to question number 2. Question from a coach. Why are struggle and failure becoming tragic in practice? I love this question, right? I seem to lose my players when things get hard. I love studying the player of today. My youngest daughter, Caroline, always says, Dad, you always say that about these kids today. Yeah, you're right. Kids today, y'all got it harder than anybody I've ever seen. I mean that. Y'all have more pressure, more stress, more anxiety, more worries, more standards that you're trying to live up to. I'm finishing a book on anxiety right now. It is really, really good. It's really good. And it talks about this. So what happens is when we're struggling, I find that most players come into the environment now. And they come in like they got this ball of like hope and potential. They walk in and they're like, I got it. This is my portfolio. It's a done deal. And I'm going to measure it against progress and challenges. But that ball of potential isn't a ball of development. It's not a work of development. It's not a project. It's a presentation. So struggle and training becomes a rejection of what they perceive their readiness is. See, they see that as, oh my God, I'm falling short. When in reality, it should be seen as, this is the areas I need to continue to improve because everybody has the right to improve. Every single player you coach, lead, everything has the right to get better. We got to take them and teach them that failure needs to occur in 15% of everything we do. If you're not creating failure in practice at least 15%, it's not hard enough. Okay? And if it's too hard and failure is occurring more than 15%, then we need to give them some areas of confidence. Data suggests it needs to happen in 15%. So you as a coach, if your coaches out there, you need to train your players that failure is going to happen in our practice. In games, you are going to fail. And my job is to teach you through the failure, not judge you. So I don't need you judging yourself either. But coaches, we got to be better too, because I've heard from coaches that say they just don't have it. Like, who is the right to determine if somebody's going to have it in the next 2 or 3 years? If you don't think they have it playing for you, help them find a coach that can nurture them and develop them. Give them that service. Dennis had a question. What's a good mental strategy from letting a few bad shots ruining a good round? That's a choice. But here's the deal. If I punched you, which I wouldn't do, if I punched you, can you get rid of the pain, the discomfort, the blood running down your face, the cut on your jaw? No. But if you have a desire and a purpose, that will mute out. See, what happens is in bad shots in golf, we see that as a failure of us, like it's a badge of failure. And we just like, oh, put another one on there. I suck. I can't believe I made that mistake. Why? In a good round of golf, you're going to hit 4 to 5 great shots. All the others are going to be semi-sucking shots. So get better with those semi-suck shots. See, don't make it that you're perfect. Bad shots happen. That's the competition. Sorry. That's the truth. All right. So we want to hear from you. In the future, we're going to do some live Q&A. I'm going to do some coaching in these sections, but it's going to get good. I'm blown away by the number of people who are watching live. Y'all, that feeds my soul. Basham, any other questions that we got coming out of this, you think?
Yeah, I saw some good ones. I got them started right here.
I like that one right there. I like that one right there about major injuries. That's kind of what made me a psychologist.
Let me find it. Okay, here we go. From Andrew, how do you help players returning from major injuries that deal with the mental questions in their own mind of trying to rewire their brain towards confidence and self again after body is different?
Yeah, that's why I became a psychologist. Right there, Andrew. I got injured my third year at LSU. It took me 2 years. Like I wasn't bashing. I wasn't all SEC. But I had to work my way up and fight like hell to get there. And when I finally made it, I got injured. And I lost my ability to throw. I lost my mechanics. And I lost my velocity. And I lost the faith and trust in me. And what I did was I went into a dark spot. And so when I became a psychologist, I ended up doing fine. I was really good. I didn't have all the talent in the world, but I had a lot of heart. I was one of those feel-good guys, right? But what happens when an injury happens is that we take that past and that trauma that happens, rewrites our past a little bit and glorifies the things that we did before. And now what happens is we start building a struggle in to compare against that ideal past. What we have to do, I hate the word rehabilitation, hate it, hate it, hate it. I like to see that we're building something better. We're going to get in the gym, we're going to work, we're going to take the limitations we have, but we're going to find more efficient ways to do it. And we're going to get better, and we're going to start defining it. I had a player, it was one of my favorite stories ever, returning from an ACL. We had a tragic ACL injury, and that I got involved with early on. Player had all the data in the world that showed they were coming back better, faster, stronger, everything. Player doubted it. Had heard rumblings from scouts that they weren't as good, all those other things, right? Finally, the player comes in and is like, Doc, I'm back, baby. And I'm like, I know you are. I've been showing you the data, but why do you now think you're back? He goes, went to dinner the other night with my girlfriend. And when I sat on the table, my knee was cranked up under the table. When I got up, it didn't hurt. I'm ready to go. Okay. Girlfriend test. It's always a great one. But that's what happens, right? Our past is somewhat an illusion. And what we do is we reject our present instead of building it. We have to accept what we have and realize that we can do with what we have. And we start inlaying those positive things. I have a great course that I have called Psychology of Injury. I think it's somewhere on my website somewhere. So anyway, let's take one more question here, and then we're going to come back at the end and take a few more. Which one you like there, Bash? Whoop, don't hear you. We're not hearing you. Got to get him off mute. There we go.
How do you deal with recent failure to inspire and become stronger from player?
From the player? You like that one just because it said Tigers, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
Okay. All right. So how do you deal with recent failures? Failure's the greatest educator we have. When you look at the end of your career, you're going to have a bookshelf, and that bookshelf is going to have all kinds of different stories on it. It's going to have biographies of great people that you met along the way. It's going to have tragedies where you fell short. It's going to have how-to manuals of how you built your life. It's going to have thrillers, mysteries, dramas. It's going to have everything. That failure is just one book on your bookshelf. It's what you choose to make it. See, I think we have to build a resilient person who understands that the scars and the mistakes that we have and the wounds that we have, they heal. They never go away, but they heal. And they create and give us wisdom to help us perform better. So the question after failure is, what did you learn and what are we going to take with it? Well, I want to fix it, Doc. Can't fix it. It's in the past. I don't want it to ever happen again. Can't guarantee that either. When a plane crashes, knock on wood, right? Knock on wood. They send out the NTSB. They have a crash division. And why do they do that? They do that to learn from a crash that's already happened so that it'll never happen again. Will it happen again? It might. That's just more information that they need to improve overall safety. The same thing with us. I don't ever want to lose. I don't ever want to struggle, but it's the greatest educator we have. Great education is expensive and it hurts. Remember that.